Well, thank you all very much for coming. It is a great honor to play even a small part in an event that's not just a tribute to the legacy of Masao Miyoshi, but also an inauguration of what we hope is the future of the humanities at the University of California at San Diego. I came here in January of 2009, and among the first people that I was introduced to and sought out was Masao himself, and I had the honor of meeting him in the spring of 2009 with Don Wayne, who was the chair of the literature department at that time. And as Nina called attention to, I was impressed by his breadth of understanding, his sensitivity, his eloquence, and his choice of neckwear. Masao embodied many things on this campus that I've known about for many, many years. And I hope that we can use this conference not simply as a recognition of his achievement, but as an anticipation of the future. And as Dean of Arts and Humanities, I'd just like to say a few things about the Humanities Center and Stephen Tanaka's leadership of it, about the humanities here at UCSD and its unique profile, a little bit about Japanese studies, and also about what I hope to be some future events that are keyed to the celebration and interrogation of the humanities. Here at the University of California at San Diego, as you may know, we have an idiosyncratic, if not unique, constellation of departments. We have one large literature department, a history department, and a philosophy department, and also in the unit of arts and humanities, we have a music department, a visual arts department, and a theater and dance department. All of these departments contribute to a very special signature of humanistic inquiry, which I think we would all agree focuses on three things. One, a very broad global perspective. That is, a way of looking at humanistic inquiry not along the ensiloed lines of national literatures or of particular traditions, but looking in broad, comparative, global ways that, to my understanding, have really been the key feature of humanistic inquiry and the literature department here since the discipline's foundings and the department's foundings here in the 1960s. The second is a strong commitment to social action. The belief that whatever we do in the classroom or in the study or in the library must have an impact on social life outside the particular discipline in which we work. And I know that Masao Miyoshi's career and the careers of many people who have made their lives here at UCSD has been committed to blending pedagogy and social action in ways that enhance both, in ways that enable us to understand that the study of literature, culture, language, and society are integrated activities, and that relationships of power, relationships of economics, and relationships of control in the past and in the present inform our understandings of humanistic inquiry. The third is, I think, a commitment to innovation, a sense that as a relatively young campus, which has just celebrated last year its 50th anniversary, UCSD in general and the humanities in particular have not been bound to particular traditions, to monolithic schools of thought, or the tyranny of institutional self-importance. And so we are in many ways freed up not just to look at the past in a different kind of way, but to invent our own institutional and curricular future. My hope is that the study of Japan, the study of Asia in general, and the study of our place on the Pacific Rim will, in the present and the future, form a centerpiece for that reinvention of the humanities here at UCSD. Stephen Tanaka's leadership of the Humanities Center, I think, is therefore a brilliant opportunity for us to reconfigure what the role of the humanities is in a Pacific Rim institution, in an institution that is 30 miles from the US-Mexico border, in an institution that now is uniquely challenged financially, administratively, socially, and culturally. A question was asked about the Humanities Center, and let me just say that those of you who are not from the UC system should know that in the mid-1980s, the Office of the President of the University of California initiated campus humanities centers with the idea that each UC campus would have a center for supporting innovative pedagogy, faculty and graduate student research, and hosting, visiting, and internal scholars and lecturers to contribute to the humanities, broadly speaking. And our Humanities Center has lain fallow for far too many years, and I'm just particularly delighted to be able to welcome Stefan and what will be his new staff into a new UCSD Humanities Center that will not only articulate a vision for the humanities here, but as Stefan knows, will bring us back into productive dialogue with the other UC campuses, will profile the humanities at UCSD, a campus long known largely for its commitments to science, technology, and engineering, medicine, and furthermore, to find a national, if not a global place for the study of literature, culture, art, and social experience, and at this part of Southern California. Stefan called attention to the phrase imminent questions, and I hope that this is the first of an annual series of imminent question conferences on a variety of issues, structures, foci, ways of profiling our Humanities Center and bringing together our faculty and students here at UCSD into a renewed sense of humanistic inquiry, broadly conceived. I want to conclude with a few remarks. Nina has graciously commented on her own experience as a department chair. I'll comment on my own experience as a dean. As many of you know, this is a campus that is challenged in many, many ways. And one of those challenges is, I think, something not unique to this campus, but to all public universities. What is the relationship between public support and private philanthropy? What is the relationship between collective action and individual decision-making? And what is the relationship between academic freedom and external sources of support? Anyone who works at a public university, whether it's the University of California or Wisconsin or you name it, these are the central problems facing public universities today. And 60% of my job now, day to day, involves raising funds from private individuals to support what we used to support with public funds. I would like to talk about, in the end, development, not simply as a question of asking for money, but as a broader issue. How do we develop the humanities at UCSD? How can we work with the community at large to show that what we're doing is part and parcel of a broader social activity? How can we show that what we do is not just worthy of support, but worthy of investment? And one of the things that I will be doing after this conference is over is working with Stefan to work with our community to invest in the humanities, to show that support for the humanities is support for the local and global economy, that it is support for our future students and teachers, that it is support for a broader cultural activity, and in the end, that it is also the support for individuals. Because in many ways, the humanities is an individually oriented activity. Masao Miyoshi, even though I met him briefly and only once before his passing, was one of the most individual individuals that I think I've ever met. And as a community of individuals, we need to understand that at the heart of the humanities is truly the human. And so I would love to be able to stay here today. Unfortunately, I have many other decanal activities. When I became a dean, I learned that the adjective for dean was in fact decanal, and I'll let you meditate on that very briefly, as I do in my darker moments. But in this lighter moment, let me say that this activity is certainly one of the most valuable and one of the most rewarding things I do as a dean. Supporting these kinds of conferences and the Humanities Center is something that restores my faith in individuals and institutions. And I look forward to learning what goes on at this conference, to any activities that go on in its aftermath, and to building the future of the humanities, not just with our faculty, but with our community and with all of you. And so with those words, I want to welcome you. Thanks, Stefan. Thank all of you for coming. And I hope you have a productive, exciting, and engaging conference worthy of Masao's intellectual inquiry and his eminence. still today. Thank you very much.